Hello, hi, welcome to the new video. Now here I'm sharing one of my interview experiences, and this was the first technical round. And as I said in the earlier video, it was 4 rounds of discussion, and one was technical and a client, managerial, and HR. And I hope so everything goes smooth. And as of now, let me share the first initial discussion, which is a technical interview, which has happened for almost 1 hour, and I'm going to share the complete questions and going to discuss with respect to answers also. And just allow me here 1 minute. And also one more thing, the experience range was around 3 years, and it was a purely into a DevSecOps role, and they're expecting some scripting language, programming language like scripting, and it was completely DevSecOps with 3 years, around 3 years of experience. Okay, let's deep dive. And with this, by watching this particular video, you will get some kind of feeling where you attended the interview. Okay, think of it like whenever you are watching the video, whenever the question comes on the screen, try to answer yourself. If you are in that particular situation, how would you answer that particular question? Okay, let's move on. The first question was, it's kind of introduction video. Can you walk me through your DevSecOps experience and what are all the tools used and in which context you have used it? And my response would be like, I have over 3.3 years of experience into DevOps as well as DevSecOps, and I was primarily working in the automating of a CI/CD pipeline and securing the infrastructure and implementing the my main goal was making the SDLC into SSDLC, that means software development lifecycle, into embedding the security into the existing software development lifecycle and making into secure software development lifecycle. Okay. And if I talk about the tools like CI/CD tools, I have Jenkins, GitLab CI/CD, and ISS tools like ISS security, Terraform, Snake, YOE, and I am going to integrate that into a particular pipeline for ISS scanning. And SAST, I have your knowledge on SonarQube and Fortify, checkmarks. We can use open source tools which performs SAST, and DAST, I have knowledge on dependency check, again Fortify, and dependency ZAP dependency check was for SCA, and we can also integrate these tools into a CI/CD pipeline. SCA, that is software composition analysis, and also a software static code analysis was also one of the component which falls in the CI/CD pipeline. And secret manager, like a Git Lakes, Git Guardian, AWS secret manager, a GitHub secret scanning, and monitoring and alerting purpose, we are using Prometheus and Grafana and AWS service CloudWatch. In different projects, I have different experience. I shared the same thing. And moving to the next question, what's your current role and responsibilities in your CI/CD pipeline? What are you more into implementation or planning and policy as well? One thing, before going to this particular question, I wanted to tell you guys one thing. Whenever you are working in your project, you are not being, in some projects you are involved end to end. In some projects you are not involved to end to end. Okay, in that case, you might be having specific responsibilities. Okay, obviously everyone cannot handle end to end, so that is the main point, objective of this question. And here, as of I primarily involved into the implementation, and also I contributed like a security planning and policy enforcement, and I build and manage the CI/CD pipelines as the tools listed earlier, and like Jenkins, GitLab CI/CD, Azure DevOps, and I configure the different components, SAST, DAST, and SCA, ISS scanning, and secret scanning. Different checks will be integrated into these particular pipelines based on the placeholders where it falls, and we manage RBAC policies, like role-based access control policies, to protect the secret injections into the pipelines or into that particular CI/CD mechanism, and unauthorization access can be avoided by using role-based access controls. And I also work with the development team to ensure the security best practices, and I conducted sessions regarding the OAPS top 10 also, and where they can aware of what are the security flaws they might be not following, and that is identified from our as a DevSecOps team. And we also integrated some security, a tracker tool. Whenever there is some high critical alert is found in the while scanning the code, that should be triggered a automatic CI/CD pipeline, and that like Jira, ServiceNow, that ticket tracking tool also integrated into a pipeline. And moving to the next question, it is regarding pipeline only. How do you integrate your security tools into your CI/CD pipeline? Sorry, one moment. Yeah. how do you integrate a security into a CI/CD pipelines? Can you explain one complete implementation with Jenkins? In this particular case, the interviewer is expected to explain, let's say if you are implementing the security into the Jenkins pipeline, how can you integrate and where you integrate what stages, like how will be the automation flow. I explained like I integrate security into a CI/CD pipeline in a stages wise, like it's a multi-stage Jenkins script, where in the stage 1 we are pulling the source code from the Git repository by using webhooks or Polysium something, and in stage 2 we are performing some checks. If there is some Terraform files, we are make sure to check the security flaws in that by using a sneak, and Trivy also there for container scanning. And before building the code itself, we are going to integrate SAST and dependency check also. That means source code analysis, which is SCA will comes into your picture. We integrate a WAP's dependency check tool into that particular stage, and after that we will perform a SAST scan. After that we will build that particular code and we will deploy that into a microservices, and that will trigger a to the WAP's zap or whatever the pipeline. Based on these tools will be primarily dependent on the client. Independent. So we cannot say that will be dependent on the client. That's my point here. And that will generate a URL, and that will be scanned by the whatever the DAST component tool we have integrated in the pipeline, and that will after the scan that will generate a report with whatever the output we are expecting. That might be in different format, JSON or PDF or XML, like that. And the next question was, which tool have you used for SAST, DAST, SCA, and ISC scanning? What do you run? Where do you run this particular tools in the pipeline? If you talk about the SAST, as I said, I have multiple tool experiences, and I explained about the SonarQube as it is a open source, and there are some license-based tools also, popularly Checkmarx, Spotify, and different tools. And we are going to integrate this SAST tool after code checkout, like first stage code checkout. After that we can integrate the SAST tool, and after that we can integrate the stage which is DAST. Okay, as in this particular question there is no build stage is specified. So after SAST, DAST will be coming, and after DAST SCA will be coming, where it will SCA will be before building of the project only. The SCA will come into picture, and SAST also will be the same. Before building the project itself, SAST will come. We can start with the SCA first, and after that SAST, and after that build a tool if anything is there, and ISC scanning also we can done in the before building only. Okay, after building, the var file or jar file will be generated, and that will pass into a Apache Tomcat server to create a URL something. Okay, based upon our flow. And moving to the next question, what is the best stage in the pipeline to place the SAST scans, and why? Okay, to place the SAST scan, the best place was after the code checkout. Why? Because we don't need to perform build. Before building of the source code itself, we need to integrate. We need to test for static code analysis. Let's say if we place the SAST component after the build stage, or after the staging or enrollment stage. DAST scan or something. Then there might be chances of getting findings in the production or UAT. So the best practice was using the SAST after code is fetching from the Git repository. Okay, and the purpose why was there is a faster feedback to the developers. That is the one main reason. And if there is any coding flaws, that will be as soon as they commit the code, that will be identified to the developer, and they can fix. As if you see about the cost efficiency also, it is very good. Okay, and early detection is possible. Okay, and how do you identify and handle false positives in SAST, DAST tools? Any automation approach? Yeah, when we talk about SAST, DAST, one moment, I think I missed the bit between one question. How do you the same question, how the SAST is there, likewise DAST. When would you place DAST, and what are its constraints? DAST will be placed after the application deployment, obviously, right? So after getting the API, that URL need to be scanned through the DAST scanner, where this particular constraints includes running of application or server, and we cannot detect flaws in backend logic. Okay, so in the that particular URL and server only needed. And sometimes based on the like authentication and authorization provided, we may need authentication tokens to test the like authenticated areas of the existing URLs or APIs. Okay, and moving to the next question, how do you identify and handle false positives from SAST DAST tools? Any automation approach? The false positives by using there is a one option, suppress option. In SonarQube also there, in 45 Snake. Major tools. I think every tools which is providing a service of SAST like 45 checkmarks, SonarQube. There is a suppress option, so we can handle the false positives by using that suppress option. If we suppress that particular identified vulnerability, that will be not coming in the upcoming iterations. Okay, and we are going to classify the findings with the severity, and there is a CVE score and what is the CWE type also, and we are going to maintain a list of suppressed issues in source control as well, so that is not going to repeat again, and that will be stays the informed. And we can automate the false positives by using a filtering option like a custom scripts. This is something strange for me also, and I try to like explain in that manner. Like there might be some custom scripts we need to write, and we need to again we need to go with the alternative tool and confirm whether there is a false positive, and by checking them manually. That is the one of the thing. And moving to the next question, what are the challenges did you face when you integrate security tools into CI/CD pipelines, and how did you overcome that particular issues? Obviously, whenever we are running a pipeline will be slow due to the heavy scans, and that will be resolved by running the parallel scans, and there might be some false positives, and we need to build a suppression workflow and baseline configuration, and there might be some secret exposed in the while generating the logs. We need to mask that in the environment variables, and we need to generate some restricted kind of logs, and there might be some compatibility issues, and based on the tool and plugins, and yeah, that is the thing. And the next question was, have you used GitHub Actions for pipeline, and if not, why? If yes, how did you implement security scans within that particular tool? As I don't have like much hands-on experience on GitHub Actions, and I have some idea like what is the purpose of GitHub Actions, and where we can run your pipelines by using a YAML script, as I have a experience of GitLab CI/CD. So based on that understanding, I got this also like understanding, but I haven't done the like hands-on. But I heard like there is some inbuilt secret scanning, and there are some which is inbuilt features are available within the GitHub Actions. I said the same thing. And the next question was, can you explain the list of vulnerabilities from the YOE's top 10 and explain at least 3? Yeah. YOE's top 10, whenever you are attending DevSecOps role, definitely this question will be expected. This is the popular one, like YOE's top 10, where the broken access control, SQL injection, cryptographic failure, insecure design, security misconfiguration, vulnerable and outdated components, identification and authentication failures, and server side request forgery, cross-site scripting, security logging and monitoring failures. These are the different YOE's top 10 vulnerabilities. If I wanted to explain 3, I will go with SQL injection, where injecting of attackers try to inject a SQL injection where they can modify the DB queries, and they can change the fields via the inputs, and they can change the values via the input fields. And coming to the next one, broken access controls. There are where broken access controls that will allows the users to access the unauthorized resources, that will against of role-based access controls, and by maintaining proper role-based access controls and IAM, identity and access management, it will restricted URLs and API endpoints. That will be the remedy for broken access control. And the third one was security misconfiguration, where there is a public S3 buckets. If there is a public S3 buckets, obviously that will cause a security misconfiguration, right? Whenever we are maintaining, it should be like private, and by using certain scanners, we need to make sure that I mean, before going to the UAT or production, in the testing environment, we need to make sure test properly ISA scan, infrastructure as a code scan. That will let us know whether did we configure properly or not. Okay. And moving to the next question, what proactive steps have you taken to educate the development team about secure coding practices? As I said, we are there is a document from OAPS also, and we took it as sessions for the development team to get awareness on OAPS top 10 and their respective mitigations, and that will be some hands-on sessions where we performed some example. I mean, we took some example code and we performed OAPS top 10, and we covered some vulnerabilities from that, and provided the developers with the SonarQube reports and guided them for resolving the vulnerabilities and encouraging to use of secure coding checklists during the code review process. And the next question was, how would you prevent WAPs issues like SQL injection or cross-site scripting in modern applications? Obviously, we need to use we need to validate the input and sanitize that particular input before we proceed. We need to limit the database permissions, at least at the user level itself. I mean, we need to follow a principle of least privileges. If we come to the cross-site scripting, we need to sanitize the user inputs and encode the output, especially in HTML and JSON contexts. And we need to use the libraries like DM Purify and that will DOM Purify, where for client-side sanitization that will be helpful. I mean, there are different things they need to explore, and we need to set the secure HTTP headers, and we are also enforce the scanning tools, SAST, DAST, to catch these particular issues within the pipeline before moving to the UAT or production level. And moving to the next question, which WAPs vulnerabilities can you identify in SAST and versus DAST? Give the specific example. In static application security testing, we identified SQL injection, where hard-coded SQL queries, and saw scripting injection in response, like a cross-site scripting, insecure deserialization of data, and hard-coded credentials within the source code. And we used the SonarQube and scans the source code line by line. And there are multiple tools I'm saying just for example. And coming to the dynamic application security set testing, where the broken authentication, where login bypass can be happen, and session management issues, where missing the cookie flags in that particular session, and there is a exposed API endpoints, and we used the example tools like WAPs, ZAP, and we'll run the test CA running application. SAST finds the issues before the deployment, and DAST finds the issues after the deployment. We need to deploy the application, right, for getting the URL and API endpoints. And moving to the next question, have you worked on generating reports for OAPS scans and tracking them to closure? As I said, for SAST, SonarQube, where I expected reports in HTML or SARIF formats, and SARIF and DAST. That will schedule say baseline scans in pipeline like Jenkins and stores the results as artifacts. And I used ServiceNow as well as Jira for integration to automatically create a ticket for high critical vulnerabilities. And we are weekly securing, conducting a security meetings where we will held with the development team to review and assign the closure of the existing findings. And moving to the next question, have you ever responded to an cloud security incident? Walk me through the detection to resolution lifecycle. From detection to the till resolution. While detecting the detection stage, we need to alert need to be triggered by using, let's say, if you are using AWS Guard Duty or CloudWatch events. And we need to investigate by using CloudTrail, by using the logs and IAM activity also. And we need to go with the root cause, like developer had committed some keys accidentally to a public repo. I mean, what exactly the root cause? Just I'm taking example. And we need to have a follow-up, like what will be the implemented and what will be the updated IAM permissions, and what will be the updated status of that incident. And moving to the next question, how do you manage the IAM in your cloud environment? Do you follow least privileges and access key rotation policies? I strictly follow the least privileges principles, where I can create a IAM roles with the minimum required permissions per service, and we use role-based access controls, not user-level policies, where we rotate the IAM, like identity and access management user access keys, every 90 days by using a AWS config and Lambda reminders, where that will enforce the MFA for some console access. And we are going to audit the IAM activity with tools like CloudWatch and access analysis. And we are going to disable the root access keys also. This was my explanation. And what is VPC? And this is regarding mostly AWS cloud questions. What are VPC endpoints and why would you use them in a secure setup? VPC endpoints, basically it allows a private connectivity between your VPC and AWS service without using some public internet. So it will be more secure, where private connectivity is enabled between the VPC and your AWS service. There are two types of VPC endpoints, like interface endpoints we call ENIs, and gateway endpoints, that is S3 or DynamoDB, we can say. The use case of this particular VPC endpoints are we can secure the data transfer between the EC2 and S3 without outside internet, and we can prevent the ingress traffic through the NAT gateways, and we can enforce tighter security controls and routing for some compliance issues. And moving to the next question, have you used AWS Direct Connect, Transit Gateway, or any private connectivity methods in secure architecture? I haven't used AWS Direct Connect in production personally. I have a understanding of their architecture. Like Direct Connect is basically used for high speed and low latency private connectivity between on-premise and AWS services. Where the Transit Gateway, it is going to be a centralized hub for connecting, connectivity of multiple VPCs and VPNs. And I have worked with VPC peering and private link for service-to-service communication without exposing public IPs. These services helps to reduce the attack surface and improves the internal traffic security also. And moving to the next question, how do you detect and respond to a compromised IAM user with admin privileges? As the role was DevSecOps, they are mostly into that only, and my knowledge on cloud was AWS, so the most of the questions was regarding that only. For regarding compromised IAM user, in that case, what we need to do was we need to enable cloud rail, or there is a one service guard duty, AWS guard duty, and AWS config for monitoring purpose. We can use that, and you can detect the unusual API calls and region usage or IP changes. And the response should be like, we need to immediately disable or delete the access key, and we need to revoke the session by using a AWS CLI or console, and we need to rotate the password and MFA credentials, and we need to use a IAM access analyzer to see the impact of the impact score, we can say. And after that, we need to implement remediation steps like patching and restore, and we need to harden. And coming to the prevention part, we are never assigned admin privileges to an IAM user. We need to use roles with temporary credentials. And moving to the next question, what AWS services helps to rotating or auditing access keys and secrets? Have you implemented them? If it talk about the AWS services, AWS Secret Manager, where automatically rotates the database credentials and secrets. We can be integrated with Lambda for custom rotation of logic written, and AWS IAM access analyzer, where that will detect the overlay permission access policies, and CloudTrail, where it will audit the IAM user activities or actions, we can say. And moving to the next question, how do you decide which combination of SAST, DAST, SCA and ISC tools to use for a project? Obviously, we need to have a knowledge on what kind of project. Whether if it is a Java project, we can go with the we can choose SAST, SonarQube. If it is Node.js, also we can do that. And based on the, it should be based on the project, and if the deployment model, if it is APIs are publicly exposed, we need to include the DAST tools like WAPS, ZAP, Z-Attack Proxy, and what is the dependencies used? SCA becomes mandatory for open source heavy projects by using Trevi, Snake, dependency check, WAPS, we can apps dependency check, we can choose the dependencies used in that. And IAC, Terraform, like Jenkins, DevSec, and Terraform also can be integrated into the pipeline. And based on the regular needs, we need to going to decide this particular approach of combination. And can you give a use case where SEA provided crucial value during pipeline execution? I mean, some questions I haven't answered, and for your knowledge purpose, I'm giving some kind of overview. So don't think like whatever the information or the content I am delivering with respect to the answer, it's enough. Okay, so it's your turn to explore from your end. Okay, so that is the main one homework you need to do from your end. My intention was sharing of kind of experience as well as questions that might useful for your use case also. Okay, that is only my intention. Okay, and one moment. Yeah, it is regarding where SCA provided crucial value during the pipeline execution. In that case, we need to make sure it is integrated before the deployment only. Why? Because if the application deployed, then that will be a heavier impact and severity will be there. The fix involved for updating the safe version, that will be the crucial, we can say. And what is the issue was caught, and generating of alert, that is also one of the steps need to be taken while if it is generated some crucial value while executing SCA. And how do you integrate Jenkins, Trevi, or DevSec into a Terraform pipeline? Basically, we can install by using pip library, Python library also. And before applying Terraform apply, it should be installed Jenkins. And the Terraform also same. We need to make sure to install the executable first, and then set up the environment variables, and we can scan the container by using Trevi image and image name. That will be the, reports will be generated as per our requirement, and it will be in a structured pipeline format we can integrate based upon our requirement. And what is your understanding of secret scanning and secret management tools? Have you used anything like HashiCorp Vault, AWS Secret Manager? As I have experience on GitLeaks, GitGuardian, and AWS Secret Manager, and HashiCorp Vault also. And for secret scanning, as I said, these are the tools where it will identify the hard-coded secrets within the code base, and we are going to prevent pushing of secrets via pre-commit hooks and GitHub actions. If we talk about the AWS Secret Management, I have used it, and it will be used to store and auto-rotate of DB passwords. That will be very much helpful. And dynamic secrets can be stored in HashiCorp Vault. That will be the one of the use case. And for instead of setting up the environment variables, we can go set up a HashiCorp Vault also. We can use that. Next question was, have you worked with the GitHub Enterprise? What security features are available compared to public GitHub? Obviously, there is some advanced security features available in GitHub Enterprise. As I haven't worked as a real time, but I have a kind of knowledge with respect to the security. There is some audit logs, and compliance reports will be generated through that, and SSO and LDAP integration can be done for user access controls, and branch protection rules for enforced code reviews, GitHub advanced security for SAST, secret scanning, and some bot alerts also we can set up there in enterprise. Those are the some features what I know. And moving to the next question, how does GitHub's dependency management feature helps in enhancing the application security? Within the GitHub, there is a GitHub which feature? GitHub dependency management, where dependent bot that will auto scans the dependencies for known CVS, based on the CVS core, like vulnerabilities we can say, that will be identified that particular bot, and it is a pre-trained. It creates a pull request with the updated secure versions, and it is combined with the security advisories, and it gives the developers full context on the risk, and they are able to understand from their end by reading that particular context itself. And it will also support log file scanning, and real-time alerts can be generated from that. It enables shift left security. That means shifting the security to the early in the development phase. And moving to the next question, what measures do you implement to ensure no secrets or credentials are pushed into version control? You need to enforce the Git pre-commit hooks with the detect secrets. That means Git Guardian, Git leaks, Git Guardian, and enable the GitHub secret scanning. Truffle Hawk also performs, and within the CI/CD pipeline, we can make sure to integrate those components first, and we need to review pull request first for credentials exposure, or some tokens, or some AWS keys or JWT tokens, or we need to store the secrets securely in AWS Secret Manager or environment variables or some encrypted GitHub secret manner. And we need to educate the developers to use the environment variables, not to hardcode. In a hard-coded string format. And moving to the next question, it is a question where they ask her to share the screen and write a script to explain the logic to convert a string into a array. There is a string. We can choose any of the programming language, and I took Python and I read the script to convert a string into a array, where a string is a I took example. Fruits equals to, in the double quotations, it will be apple, banana, and orange, like that. And I write one of the variable where split keyword is included in the above fruits. In the variable, I have written fruits dot split. Full stop split. Within the fruits, I separated with the comma. If there is no comma, let's say if in the string there is no comma, then we can keep the split in the brackets one space enough. If we keep in between the like one fruit to one fruit, one word to one word comma, then we need to split with the comma only. Then we can print the above variable like fruits. That will print the output in the array. And the next question was, what scripting language do you prefer? Python, Bash? Give me example where you have automated the security task. Obviously, I prefer the Python for complex tasks and Bash for lightweight scripts. And I wrote a Python script that will send a email alert to a destination if keys. If the AWS IAM keys was older than 90 days, where we are going to use Boto3 module in that, and SNTP request should be required for sending alerts, and CloudWatch events for running it periodically. And moving to the next question, how would you write a script that alerts if a AWS IAM access key is older than 90 days? It is the same thing, like you ask her to share the screen and write a script. As first of all, we need to import the Boto3 module first, and we need to write the variable where Boto3 client, we need to specify the AWS resource IAM, and response we need to store in a variable, and we need to write a for loop where user and response will be the user's name will come, and the key we need to define, and for let's say if age is greater than 90 days, we need to print a alert of username, and key we need to print the key ID also is, and whatever the age is there is let's say 91 days old, we need to print that particular message. And you can explore on your own so that you will get an idea. And moving to the next question, how do you keep yourself updated with the DevSecOps trends and tools? Obviously, this was the major expected question in some of the most engaged interviews. Let's say if interview went well, obviously at end conclusion questions will be this kind of questions. Obviously, we need to follow some official DevSecOps. I personally follow the DevSecOps.org site, and in LinkedIn, DevSecOps relevant groups, and majorly from AWS security blogs also will be there, and cloud native security weekly updates. I have like newsletter subscription, so I will follow the GitHub repositories where they will update security updates regarding the OAPs as well as CVE alerts, and those are the major resources where I follow. And also I personally interested in attending and connecting people majorly in this domain, and some events where the webinars is happening, and I personally attend that. Why? Because that will be something where the trending topics is discussed, and whatever is something new to the market or industry, that will be discussed there, and having some good connection with the leadership team within the organization as out of the organization, also through the LinkedIn or some platforms, that will give more, that gives more updated in the trends and tool sets. And moving to the next question, if you give you a task to integrate secret scanning into GitHub pipelines with notifications, how would you approach it first? It is kind of a practical scenario based question where we are going to it is majorly a GitHub Actions. I already said I don't have much hands-on experience on GitHub Actions. First of all, I consider as a normal GitLab CI/CD or Jenkins CI/CD flow, where we are storing the enrollment variables, after that committing the code, and secret scanning. We need to install the tool and integrate that into a pipeline, where it is going to work through the CLI approach, right? So we need to make sure that we need to be set up in the enrollment variables, and once the code, we need to first commit the code, and that will be the first stage. After that, we need to perform the git scan, and once the scan is completed, we need to make sure it generated a target report in the the result in the expected format, and that should be stored in the output expected location. And we can integrate the email notification or some Slack notification by using SMTP protocol. And if the pipeline fails, we need to make sure we need to write a logic in such a way, if there is some high critical secret is found, we need to fail the pipeline then and there itself, and if it is something low severity, then we can allow the pipeline to pass to the next stages. Okay, and that's the a flow I proceed. And moving to the, I think this is the last question, where the question is about how do you prefer security gates as hard blockers in CI/CD or just alerting? Why? Obviously, when the security gates comes in CI/CD, it depends on the enrollment and severity. For, let's say, if it is in dev enrollment, we need to use the alerts to avoid the slowing down the developers' work. For staging or production environments, we need to we need to use the hard blockers for high or critical vulnerabilities. Benefits of this particular blockers was we can make sure we can enforce the security, enforce the secure code, we can say, and we can fetch the issues before the deployment itself. Let's say in one project, I have configured the Jenkins. I configured the Jenkins to block builds on SAST high issues while allowing lower ones to pass with warnings. I have a hands-on experience also in one of my previous company project. Okay, and I think you got certain idea on this. And if you see this majorly into security only, so whenever you are attending for a DevSecOps, make sure you are able to answer in the security perspective, as they are expecting some kind of mid-senior level position. So prepare accordingly. And if you fail also, don't worry and be confident. And in my case, I am seeing certain some good vibes, because I got a certain update of a further discussion which is happening, and it was in the still in the progress. And if something update is there, I will be definitely doing a certain video with upcoming experience videos. Okay, experience questions videos. Okay, that might be helpful for you. And stay tuned for more videos. Thank you for watching. I think the video is very lengthy. Okay then, bye.